Foster4, your local council in Cheshire and Merseyside, are bringing you an exciting new podcast series. Join us as we chat all things fostering with some of Cheshire and Merseyside's most experienced and knowledgeable foster carers. We'll be covering topics relating to fostering, from making that first step to what it looks like after 40 years. We'll have interviews with people in our fostering community and young people who want to share their experiences with you. We hope listening gives you an insight into the amazing role of fostering and why fostering for your local authority will be helping children in your local community. This podcast has been funded by UK government. Okay, so welcome to the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about transferring from an IFA to local authority. I'll explain in a minute what that is, but we thought we'd start with just introducing who you are.
I'm Jayne Dignam. I work for Knowsley Council Children's Services. I previously was an IFA for 15 years. I've been with Knowsley for 7.
Okay, fab.
I'm Sally Fensham. I work for Warrington Borough Council. I've previously worked for 3 other IFAs. Fostered altogether for 25 years. Been with Warrington for 13.
Fab. So I'm Kerry. I work in learning development, Foster4. So I've got a lot of questions to look at too, but we'll just have a chat and have a little look. But I think firstly, obviously for people, anyone listening to this might not know what an IFA is. It's an independent fostering agency, and it's used really when local authorities can't recruit enough foster carers for the demand. Would you add anything other than to that kind of definition?
Not really, I don't think.
It's just a general, isn't it?
There's some people who prefer to go to an IFA first, like
but
I
rather
did,
than going directly.
rather than go straight to a local authority.
So what made you decide to transfer from an IFA to under your local authority? What was the push that...
I think when you are working for an independent fostering agency and you may have just seen an advert in the paper that attracts you and you go for it, and you've maybe not done as much research as what you could have done. And then you gradually realise that actually I feel it takes away from the local authority.
I think when I first started fostering back in 1999, my husband and I had 2 children that were 9 and 13.
Yeah.
So I purposely picked an IFA because I thought, when I went to a meeting for Colchester where I lived, they said, you just have as many children as you can literally fit in your house, regardless of how many bedrooms you had spare. So because my children were, I thought, quite young, we decided we'd go for an IFA because I thought it would be more planned, children would be better matched, if you want to call it that. So that's why we picked an IFA, really.
And I think the difference between obviously the IFA side and versus the local authority, IFA does bang the drum around the allowances and the financial benefit of fostering, and I don't think people realise actually it's the same, or if you found it's been better maybe through your council. Or
I mean, I think people, there's the fallacy out there that you do get paid more, and when you hear a fee of let's just say 450 that's on the back of the buses at the moment and things like that, they're not separating it into
what it actually means,
the allowance
that money
for the child, and which is we call them skill payments, the payments for the foster carer. I think also a big thing is we cannot forget that these are money making, profit making, most of them.
Yeah.
And they are making money off our vulnerable children.
Yeah.
And so there is a need, there is a demand, but I just don't agree with it anymore.
Yeah.
And also as well for me, I don't know whether you found that they act as a middleman.
Yeah.
And with that comes the negative.
And comes the lack of communication, I imagine, as well. And maybe support change as well.
Yeah.
Versus if you just cut that.
Behind. I call it hiding behind.
Yeah.
So for my child that I had a lot because I was doing respite regularly, but the main one for me was, I'll give an example, waiting 18 months for a decision as to whether she could see her grandma.
It's a long time,
Who's in the local area. There was a safeguarding issue.
Yeah.
But they're always being told, oh, it's because your local authority hasn't given the answer
There's
yet.
a lot of passing the buck then, isn't it? Because
Yes.
it's an extra person in the wheel, isn't it? Whereas it's already a lot jumping into the fostering world and figuring out how it all works and, you know, who's responsible for what. But having that extra IFA in the way, I suppose, creates more of that.
Because now now I'm with the local authority. They're in the same office, so the child social worker's in the same office. My social worker's in the same
So
office.
everyone talks,
And there's no middleman. They're not hiding behind each other. And if the answer's no,
that's fine.
then we can deal with that and support the child.
We just need the answer.
But to not get the answer causes problems for the
Whereas
the
you've
children.
got like a direct line now.
Yeah.
If that situation was to happen again, you've not got that middle person in the middle. Yeah. Do you feel, Sally, like the communication's better?
It's much better. I mean, I don't know, speaking from experience, when I started working for an IFA, I had no real idea of how everything works.
Yeah.
I just thought, go there, get less children, which sounds weird, but it was better for us.
Yeah.
And you got no concept of all the other stuff that's going on. So like Jayne said, when you ring up for something, you have to wait for them to find someone in the local authority that might know the answer, blah, blah.
For them to talk to someone else.
But now, in Warrington, if I ring up about anything, even if I can't get hold of the person that I want to speak to, everyone in there knows me, knows the children that we're looking after,
aren't they?
and say, I'll just nip along and ask. And it's just so much easier.
It's a lot smoother.
But you don't realise that.
And I think for people if they were new to fostering, like you want it to be as easy as possible. You're already diving into something you've not done before. You're learning, you know, and all that. I think cutting out that and having that clear communication is probably one of the most important things in those early stages, I imagine, where you've got so many questions and you've got so many things you need to figure out or get answers to. The easier they can make that, the better it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And less daunting as well. So when you did transfer, how did you find like the transfer going from IFA to local authority? Like, was it like, did the approval and assessment process, was it smooth? Did you feel like it was a lot of like pass the information on maybe?
Well, for me, because I'd already gone through, can't think of the word, cut that out.
That thing.
What's the word? Assessment. So because I'd already gone through assessment, it's just a case of passing on the paperwork and then them.
So it said smooth.
Filling in the blanks, and it's
not as daunting as what you thought. Because I'm thinking of foster carers that are still with IFAs now. Like, I think obviously they're doing a role, they're fostering, that's their primary role. Like, you know, they're really focused on it. Sometimes the thought of having to do that can be like, oh, it's a bit of faff, a bit daunting, like, oh, it's more admin. But actually, if it's just passing a piece of paper with all the details on, it's not actually that bad, is it?
No.
Was it the same for you?
Smooth.
Mine was easy. I mean, I'd already done it 3 times anyway, moving between IFAs. So it was just, you know, the difference with us was we already had a child in placement. So we had to have like a protocol meeting, you know, decide to do that. But that was more of a paper exercise than anything else, really.
Yeah.
It's just a quick meeting in the office.
And did you, once you moved then, so once you've just made the decision, you've decided like it's going to work better for you, and you've done the process, did you feel like once you were under the local authority, did you feel like there was a difference in like support, do you think? Did you feel like you were more supported than you would have been with the IFA? I
do. And again, it's that answers are swift and quick, even if it's not the one you want, you know, or the child wants. I think also as well, there is again, it's, you know, a misconception that it's true. IFA social workers probably have a lower caseload. That doesn't necessarily mean that the level of service is higher that you get. So I went over to Knowsley, and the level of service I received from the social workers was far superior.
Like, I think sometimes if they've got more cases, they're more experienced, they're going to have more knowledge to give you, aren't they, surely? Yeah. What about for you, Sally? Did you feel like
I was, from the day we moved, I've always been really happy.
Yeah.
Because like Jayne said, it's just so much more instant, you know, rather than I'll ask someone, then she says, our social worker would say, well, I need to find someone who I can ask about that. And you're like, but I'm sitting here dealing with the problem.
Did you feel frustrated though when that was all?
Yeah,
like, you're just waiting, aren't you? Like when you're waiting for 18 months, it's frustrating, isn't it? And it's the last thing you need.
And that the children are always asking you, like, what is the answer then? Can I do that? Can I?
18 months
I don't know.
time.
I don't know.
It's a long time. Like that one, for example, 18 months is a long time for a child. Like, it's frustrating. You're probably frustrated yourself, and you're frustrated for the children on their behalf as well, aren't you, waiting?
The children were a bit living outside of our area.
I was going to ask about this.
So,
yeah.
sorry to jump
No.
subjects,
I'm
but
glad
they're
you brought it
living
up,
outside our area. So I could walk around
Yeah.
and never, ever bump into anyone that the children would know or that would know me. So once we moved to Warrington, and I still work for an IFA, and then I moved to Warrington Borough Council.
Yeah.
When I was walking through like Golden Square or something, the children would say, "Oh, hello," to someone. I'm thinking, "Oh my God, who's that?" You know what I mean? Panicking because I'd not experienced that before.
That was probably the biggest
That was the biggest thing,
change.
that I'm looking after children that live quite close to where I live.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was just like a
And I
Southern
suppose there's
London
probably swings
thing.
and roundabouts to that, isn't there, really? Because for that child's probably perspective, they were in a completely new area, completely not know a soul. Like that could be quite difficult.
Change
Whereas,
school
yeah,
and
whereas
all
they know
sorts of
the
things.
shopping centre, the
Yeah,
local
yeah,
shopping centre, they know the local supermarkets.
Yeah.
That change seems a little bit easier, doesn't it? And I suppose, what was it like driving? Like if you have to take them anywhere, like schools, I suppose with an IFA, that it's a bigger area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's 50-50 with an IFA, isn't it? They could be a bit further out.
Well, my young person I've got with me was in primary, so I had quite a lot of say in which high school she went to. She was a local, because the one I had with the IFA was not too far away, but enough to cause a problem, because the whole point of fostering is to still have those relationships with their families.
Yeah.
One of the main aim is to get them back with their
Main
families.
thing is it's a
isn't it?
temporary thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So, the extended family and things like that, it's very hard if they live 45 an hour
Can't commit to
car
it.
journey. They need to be able, especially if thinking long term for them, they need to be able to go out in their own local community, go and meet friends. But if they're in a school here and they live here,
They're
it's
almost
very hard.
isolated, aren't they, away from the norm?
Yeah.
And like these children are already dealing with a lot anyway, and trying to isolate them and then integrate them back to their families. And also for yourselves, that commitment of like an hour's drive.
Yeah. I mean,
depending on if family time's vamping up and, that the child's going to go back to family, it's a lot of commitment, like driving, isn't it? Like, and that's the risk with an IFA, isn't it? It's just going to be further out.
I mean, I think as foster carers, if we're honest, we don't mind doing it.
Yeah, that's just in your nature.
However, in the interest of the child, which is what we're all supposed to be doing, putting them to, because a lot of children move huge like areas, difference, and that's what I think as well. We need to think about, and we need to have a local foster carers with our local councils for our local children, and not
keep them familiar, keep them where they should be. There's always hope that those children are going to go back to family, and keeping them in that familiarity is going to be in the best interest, isn't it? Whereas with an IFA, it's not necessarily the case, is it?
Yeah, and I don't know whether as well, and I'm jumping the subject here, but with an IFA, I know people who are having currently experiences of this. There's a huge gap in between getting young people.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask about this actually, because obviously, again, I think it comes from that disconnect probably as well. How, like, when you were obviously with your IFA, like, was you having big gaps yourselves? Or, like, obviously you said people, like, how bigger gaps we're talking? I
mean, for some people it's 6 months to a year.
Which is...
I mean, I'm all for getting the right placement.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There's that word, I don't like placement, the young people. It's, the right home for the child.
Yeah.
But for some of us, we've changed our whole lives, our whole career paths. And it would be awful if you were sitting there
without anything.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the IFA stuff, again, going back to that financial benefit, is drumming like, oh, you can quit your job and, you get this much a month, which covers it, which we've said obviously doesn't go into the X and Y Z of what that money is actually for. People would read that and be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I hate my job and I love kids, so I'm going to leave work and I'm going to focus on this. But then 6 months down the line, they're without anything. And I don't know, whereas with the council, do you feel like you get more regular sort of children placed with you?
Well, I've had my current young person with me we're going on our 7th year, and she is deemed as to live on her own time. So that's another good thing that the local council can look at the child and basically bespoke the care.
They know more about them, don't they, at the end of the day, yeah.
And it's really worked for this particular young person because, there's lots of complicated characters in who are in care and
they need it to be, they've all these children have got their own background, their own history, their own story.
Yeah.
They all need different things, don't they? And I think if you've got that IFA in the middle, they don't necessarily know enough.
Well, they might not know the family.
That's it.
Local authorities generally would know the family as a whole because they've been involved maybe from day one, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whereas an IFA just gets a phone call or a referral about a child. And I think all that background is sometimes lost. Not always.
Not always.
But in a lot of cases, it can potentially be lost.
Or gaps even, or and like you say with the council, they're talking to each other, family social workers, children's social workers, supervisors, they're all communicating because they're all under the same roof. Whereas you've got IFA that's separate. They're only given what they get. They don't necessarily know enough. I think one thing... Oh, go on.
Sorry, well, I just wanted to say about that as well, because it's pen portraits they get, so they get the pay, and they think... And they ring not just you. They will ring a lot of people, the independent fostering agencies that are on their books as foster carers. And that's great, However, are you really, honing in on my skills for that particular child? Or are you just saying, oh, Jayne's got a vacancy?
Are you looking at my experience versus... how much space I've got?
Yeah. Is this child going to do well with that foster care? Is that all those questions, are they being asked? But then flip it on its head. Whoever they do get placed with, I don't think I ever got a phone call back to say, thanks very much for considering it, Jayne, but we've gone with somebody else.
So you're just left in limbo, basically.
Well, yeah.
You're thinking...
But you assume at some point, you're like, well, obviously they're not...
Do I get the room ready? Don't I
Yeah.
get the room ready?
Yeah.
Are they coming? Aren't they coming?
You're kind of just left.
Yeah.
And I think that's it has to be considered because first and foremost, the child should be the priority, but I also need to be the priority.
Well, you want to be set up ready.
I need to feel that actually you've asked me and now you need to give me the dignity and
Well, you need to be valued, don't you, at the end of the day?
To go and, but at the end of the day, as long as they place that child in their company, that is, I feel, is the main factor.
And you've noticed a difference with being in the local authority, the
Definitely.
thought behind that specific child and what's best for them, because every child's different, every foster care is different, everyone's got different experiences, and they need to find the right ones. Especially with some situations and some more delicate subjects, you can't just place these children with whoever's free, really, can you? But I think one thing I did want to ask you was around, obviously, training, because I love it. But with the training, did you notice a difference in terms of what training opportunities you had and learning and community and those sort of really good things around fostering when you moved to the local authority? Was it different? Did you feel kind of like on your own in an IFA?
I don't think with an IFA, I don't think I necessarily felt on my own. I always have thought it's very important to get a group of people around you, other foster carers that you get friendly with.
Right.
But I think like now with Warrington, I'm friendly with quite a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because we're all living in the same area.
You can nip and go for a coffee with...
Yeah. Because it's a bit of a unique job, if you want to call it that, that we do.
You're going to share experience with each other.
Certain people around you where normal people out there would think, why are you doing this job? If you are one, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Whereas before, obviously, just being on be a much bigger thing
And if
to
you
meet
needed,
someone.
like
Yeah.
even if you just needed to ask a question that you wouldn't maybe necessarily ask a social worker about, not anything bad, but just something you think, oh, am I being a bit silly about that?
Because it's in your local community,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels more like you can just chat to
ring
people,
up
just ring someone and go, yeah, or do you fancy meeting up? Or I know you've had a situation like this similar to me. I just need to run something past you. Those sort of situations which are like the most frequent. You just need someone to bounce off. How do you feel about it, Jayne?
I found I found it quite regimental. We weren't, as a group when I was at the IFA, really allowed to interact with each other unless it was at formal. So training, support group. There was always a representative, like a social worker or a manager there. We weren't allowed to form a social media group like WhatsApp or something. That was vetoed.
It was almost like, because I understand it's a profession, it's a professional role that you're doing. It was very extreme.
Yes,
of that.
I didn't know until I moved
that wasn't normal. You don't know. I suppose
that's just what you did. Come over.
you moved. I'm sorry, but you moved. You were like, "What's going on? Everyone's talking to me."
Oh no, we're not allowed to do that. Yes, you are.
I mean, we did obviously. I know. I still know people, but it wasn't encouraged, I suppose, is the word. Whereas, the local councils, because I've been working with Foster for, because there's a group of the councils, haven't they? They've grouped together.
Yeah.
They're asking us, how can we support you? How do we get a group together of you all? So they are trying to bring us together and
make it feel like a community.
Feel that we can communicate. They want us to be more interactive, and they want our opinions. It's very hard for some people who are working foster carers who have got a full-time job, etc., etc. Well, they're trying everything.
There's more flexibility, like trying to do things more outside of like the 9 to 5 and training to be more flexible, weekends, evenings, because obviously everyone's circumstances are different, aren't they? But yeah, it feels like there's more. I think as well with Foster 4 in general, with all of the local authorities working together, me personally, obviously I'm not a foster carer, but I live on like the edge of my authority, really. Some places are probably closer for me. So I think connecting is actually going to be helpful, whereas with an IFA you just wouldn't get that, would you?
My experience was I didn't.
No. Did you get the right training, do you think, when you were with the IFA? Like, what was your training like?
I don't think personally, I don't think we did a lot.
Do you not? Be honest. Honestly,
I
be
don't
honest.
think the training was okay.
Like it did the job.
Yeah.
Could have been
and I
better.
wouldn't say that was something that at the time for me needed to be improved. I do want to say though, there was, however, a misunderstanding of our role, really, because, if I'm arriving 20 minutes late and apologising because I've had one of those mornings,
Happens.
read between the lines. I haven't been deliberately late. I've had to travel. Let's not forget for training. I've had to travel a lot further than my local area because they're trying to accommodate everybody. And I'm letting you know, and then to be basically told off because you're late and it's whatever. I'm just like,
I've been stuck on the motorway for half an hour and I've had a nightmare.
Yeah.
The drop off this morning or whatever. The school run's been a disaster
or your child that you're looking after has needed you.
You needed something. Yeah. Something's gone wrong. I mean, it's day to day, isn't it? That's what happens. But then, I suppose it's that travel on top of that, and then you're late. You feel kind of a bit like...
And then you maybe got to leave early, because when we lived in Warrington, we were fostered for an agency that was in Nantwich.
Oh, right,
so if we were done training, then we got to get all the way back to Warrington to pick the children up, and you're always sort of apologising for yourself, like, I'm so sorry, I've got to leave, but guess what, I've got to do my job, which is actually looking after children.
I've got to get back for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've noticed a difference with that, do you think, since it's been a bit more local?
I think, and you get to know the people,
and you see
the
same people, aren't you, I suppose, on the training.
Make friendships. Yeah. And also you're asked, is there anything that you'd like us to do that we're not doing already?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's much more flexible, I think.
Do you think
and it's
so? Yeah.
in the correct time slot so I can get to school.
And that makes a massive difference though, doesn't it? Like having it so that you've done the school run and be able to finish before the school run does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing I'd like to say, because of course, you know, we're in a system that is, we need more carers.
Yeah.
We need them to come to us. We need new ones. But if I was speaking to someone who's with a knife now, who is thinking of making the change or thinking that everything is hunky-dory where they are, it was for me for 15 years.
Because you didn't know any different.
I didn't know any different, and it's fine. My, the young lady I had with the IFA, I've received very little support to keep her with me.
Right.
And it was a shame because she was just pushing against the system, as we know a lot of children can do, and it can be part of their pattern.
Yeah.
But I was willing to still hold on and
Keep trying, yeah.
If they'd have put the effort into dealing with that and helping me and getting support, she might have still been with me.
Yeah.
Fast forward to my young person now, that hasn't been a smooth ride, and there have been things in there that, you know, foster carers go through, and we received the support. And so she's still with me. She just wasn't moved on.
How long's she been with you?
7 years.
Yeah.
10 to 16. She's 16 now.
It's mad, isn't it?
Now, when I came over, I was broken. My confidence had gone.
Yeah.
In my own abilities. I'd given up teaching 2 years to do the...
Which is a big,
being asked
huge,
to by them. And it was blame. It was my fault. It was this, it was that, the other. I moved over and the similar situation started to happen. But my confidence had been built by that time by my supervising social worker. But because
you've built that relationship.
It's important to know that you get a social worker and your child gets one. And so you have someone just there for you. And she'd built my confidence back up, really. In fact, far superior to it.
Made you realise, actually, no, you do know what you're doing.
Yeah. And she and obviously worked very closely with the child's social worker, and she's still with me now, but it's been very easy to listen to the child, which they have to do, but to, you know, they read between the lines, they worked with us both together, realised it's a very complex situation. And she's still with me and we're flying, but all those feelings came back.
Because it's like almost like a full circle moment, but not.
Yeah, it's going to happen to me again. I'm going to lose this child, which
you think, oh God, we're going through the same cycle here,
and it didn't happen.
But actually, it was a full circle moment, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But do you think that's like the communication again comes down to that, having that support there that you didn't have, and. It's just funny that you didn't know any different. You wouldn't, if you thought you seriously considering fostering, you wouldn't know, would you? You would just be like,
no,
I've seen this one.
Definitely more support, definitely listening to me.
Yeah.
Listening to the child, realising that I knew her and that this was just a push against what was happening elsewhere, really, you know.
Yeah.
Not, and just supported us to stay together.
And I imagine you've probably had similar situations as well.
Well, I was just thinking...
Not to the exact same, but like you've noticed that things have been a lot smoother maybe?
Well, in 2006, we actually gave up fostering and went and lived abroad for 2 years to give our children some time back, you know, because we devoted everything to fostering.
Yeah.
But when people ask why we gave up, we didn't give up because of the children. We gave up because of the situation.
It makes all the difference.
So we weren't getting the help. The young lad that we were looking after, he needed to be in a special school. But because the social workers that didn't know him, they were pushing him to stay there.
It was,
It was an easier option. Do you know what I mean? And I felt we had 2 children that we'd offered to keep long term. They were only like 6 and 8. And their social worker kept coming from London to say, no, we're still looking for a real mummy and daddy for them. And I said, but you've got a real mummy and daddy here looking after them for about 18 months. We'd looked after them by this stage. No, but they need a real mummy and daddy. And I thought, you're just not getting it.
No.
I felt a little bit like, sounds bad, we were wasting our time. Because we were putting all this effort in, but not getting anything really back.
But I bet you as soon as you...
Yeah, the children were missing out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they just give them to someone else to carry on the circle. And we just said we need to just have a break from it. Not the children, from the system, I suppose.
It's not to say that in the future, you won't need a break and stuff like that, but it's just sad that that was the reason why you needed it. The way things were working weren't quite, the support wasn't quite there.
Well, there wasn't really
any. Whereas now I like to think that now it's flipped on its head a little bit.
Now we're okay, but the social worker would say, we need some extra help.
And they'd be like, right, let's look at this. Let's look at the right teams involved. And...
Yeah, but when we worked for an IFA, he would say, but you're getting enough money now. We haven't got any more money as a local authority to give to that agency to get you the support you want. Because they assume that us as foster carers, I don't know if you think this, are getting all the money that the local authority are paying to the agency. But obviously we're not. So now it's so much easier. If I think we need something, I'm confident enough to say, this is what the children need. This is why they need it. And 9 times out of 10, something comes along. Yeah.
It sounds like you both obviously made the right decision. Moving, 100%.
Do you not find that extra support is already highlighted in most cases and trying to be given, or if not already there?
Like they're almost ahead of the game. Yeah.
Because they already know the child. Yeah. So when my young person came to me, she was receiving support.
Yeah.
I also received support for me to help her with her behaviour, strategies to help her.
Yeah.
There's certain words I hate. And they were already in place and ready to, hit the ground running. Whereas I found with the IFA, again, didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It just kept going on and on and on.
Time passing, nothing moving, no answer.
Fobbing you off. Yeah. Got to get in touch with someone else.
But it's nice to see, like, obviously, it's a big jump to make that move, but it's nice to see those key differences.
Definitely.
From one to the other.
I've never wished that I was still working for an IFA. Since I've moved to Warrington Borough Council. I've never thought, maybe we should think about going back. No chance.
Never considered it.
I call it life changing. Our life changed when as a family.
Yeah.
When we were valued, still are. We mattered,
it's going to though, isn't it? It's going to change. I think
brilliant. One
of the things that obviously people worry if they're with an IFA currently and they are considering moving into the local authority and they're up in the air, what would be your key advice that you'd say to someone who's a bit unsure of whether to move under local authority or not?
I'd say don't worry about it. Just
don't worry about it. Just do it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people worry about their age.
Yeah.
Maybe about medical things going on. Maybe about their health and fitness. It's just the same. You just get your medical, you do your paperwork.
It's not as complicated as what you might think it would be.
And, that thing that age isn't a barrier, etc. It's not going to be a barrier moving over.
No.
And I think at least have a word, go for it.
Take the plunge.
I mean, I had about 4 or 5 visits at the house.
Yeah.
And I was and ahhing.
But now I bet you think, yeah.
And I'm so glad I did. I was thinking, do I take a break? Do I this?
But yeah.
So but I think it's definitely worth the phone call. It's definitely worth finding out the information.
Take the step. Do it. It might be actually the best thing you've done.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah. So when we talk about the cutting the middleman, do you feel, since moving over to your local authority, do you feel more connected to the service, to the fostering service, to the teams within that, the training and stuff like that? Do you feel there's been a difference?
I
definitely do, yeah.
I think for me, the training, I think it's very good. I like going on training. I'm a professional foster carer. I'm part of that professional team.
Yeah.
A lot of foster carers say they don't feel that way. Sometimes, depending on who they work for. I definitely feel I'm treated as that. I'm listened to.
You feel almost integrated into that team.
Yeah. My opinion is valued. Therefore, that leads into I am also expected to do training to better myself. I'm expected to, go on this training that is, I might even get someone ring me and go, we thought of this.
Yeah.
This is for you. Or try this out. And that that's being valued.
Yeah.
That's not just box ticking.
No.
Oh, you have to do this, this, and this, and this. That is.
You feel like
someone,
you're more
yeah.
in the team almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas that, I suppose, going through an IFA, it just creates that distance. That middleman creates that kind of separate, misjointed in a way line of communication. It's an extra cog in the wheel, isn't it?
And it's that. It's that. I'm using the word bespoke again. It's that bespoke service for the child. Someone recognising that actually, if Jayne went on this training, that might be able to help her with that particular concern that's going on. And yeah, you know, we'll do that. And I think so that's for me is the superiority.
Everyone
of the training.
talking to each other.
Yeah.
Everyone being under the same roof, really, isn't it?
And then that leads on to the same expectations are there of everybody.
Yeah.
And like you say, some people do go to more because of the commitments and whatever, or they've been doing it a lot longer or don't need that particular training. But my CPD, continued professional development, is with the local authority is really superior.
More options.
Definitely.
Because obviously the local authority knows the children. They know like what these children have gone through. They know what sort of topics or areas that are probably like a demand for training in their authority, because they know this, you know, the situation. So I suppose you don't get that really necessarily with an IFA, do you? You know, they don't know, because again, they're spread out as well. So I think that probably helps as well, doesn't it?
And I think when you work for the local authority, you feel part of that professional team around the child. I think when you work for an IFA, you're not really either. Do you know what I mean? You sort of got one foot in one thing, one foot in another.
Yeah.
So you're part of your IFA team in a way, but that is quite far removed sometimes from the children and the surroundings that
especially
they come
if the
from.
child's from a different area to what you are. Like, it just, the distance alone can create a bit of a disconnect, can't it? Let alone the IFA situation and being under an IFA, that alone, it can just create more distance. But whereas with it being under your local authority, all under one place, it just makes a difference, doesn't it? We'll wrap it up there then. But thanks for chatting with me. Obviously, I didn't know much about IFAs really, but I feel like I've learned a lot from you too. So I do appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for taking the time, obviously, today.
No, thank you.
Thank you.